Chapter 258. Power, revenge, death. But when at home in Graz's palace, Agla saw what her brother had done, she became angry in her heart, and even more so demanded from the hand of Graz and the crown that she, as queen and co-leader of the great empire, could take revenge on her brother, as well as very specifically the beauty goddesses. Graz, however, who liked Agla above all, complied very willingly because he thereby wished to put himself as early as possible in his imagined most happy state. And as such Agla, after the third day, already when her brother received the 7 women, became the queen of Hanoch. Agla then became extremely tyrannical, and everyone who crossed her way had to bow before her to the ground. This, however, displeased her brother Walter, so that he therefore demanded from the king to be dismissed, in order to settle somewhere in the mountains, where he never would hear anything from his appalling sister. But Graz, who was virtually obsessed with Agla, did nothing without her consent, and therefore asked her what she had to say about the resolve of her brother. When Agla learned this, she was incensed with her brother, separated him immediately from his wives, and had him brought to a deep prison. And when this happened, she was far from being queen for 1 year, and equally so did her brother enjoy for the same period of time his marital happiness with his 7 goddesses. The general chief priest, however, was also displeased that Agla had her brother thrown in jail for no reason and cause. For Walter could be quite valuable to the upper priestly general because of his very awakened spirit. Therefore, he lobbied secretly with the king for Walter's liberation, however, under the seal of the strictest secrecy before Agla, because she otherwise could inflict harm on her brother. But the king said, "Everything would be all right, but how are we going to open the jail since Agla alone has the keys, and on top of it has placed her most trusted guard in front of the prison?" And the general said, "This is, after all, very bad, but leave this problem to me. I'll bring the matter in order again. I will raid the prison guards at night with a small fighting force and blast open the prison gate by force. And the trusted guard will be compelled to accept the matter." Graz agreed to this advice, and in the same night, and after a total of 2-month detention, Walter was free again. After Walter was freed, the chief priests wanted to place him under their protection, but he only wanted to flee, and thus he was allowed to escape. But when Agla learned what had happened, she sent captors after him to recapture her brother and kill him wherever they would find him. And the captors, anticipating a good reward, walked quickly in all directions, overtook Walter on his way to the mountains, and killed him. This was then his end and his reward, because he left the ways of God. And this was the beginning of the most cruel government that has ever existed in Hanoch.